Last week, our brave explorer, David Hasnaborough, was finally reunited with his pet otter, Harry, after learning some important lessons upon the way.
I certainly did, didn't I?
Everything okay, David?
It's just that the Vulgarian usually interrupts me at this point and says something vulgar.
Perhaps he's learnt his lesson, David.
And perhaps I'm sulking because of how you spoke to me last episode.
I spoke to you.
Moving on, David.
Oh, all right.
So it was time for David and Harry to farewell their new friends, Carrot King and his 3 chickens.
Meat and 3 veg!
Thank you ever so much, Carrot King. You've taught me an awful lot since I've been here, you know. You really are a superhero. To me, at least.
Really? You did read the Bible when you were up the hill, didn't you?
Oh, yes. At least I tried to.
Well, then you'd know that Jesus is much better than any superhero. Jesus? Oh. And my mum and dad, of course. Mum! Dad! Meet David Hasnaborough and his otter, Harry. They brought Bella the bunny back home.
Welcome to our farm, David. I am Lettuce Lord.
And I'm Cabbage Queen.
You're serious, aren't you? Lettuce Lord? And Cabbage Queen? And I see you have horses as sidekicks.
Oh, they're not horses. They're thoroughbreds. And you can call us Carol and Les if it makes you feel less intimidated.
No. Nothing really intimidates after the adventures I've been on in the past few days.
Oh, adventures, you say? And what was the most important lesson you learnt along the way, do you think?
David thought for a moment. He thought back to what Amelia had taught him about forgiveness. About what Carrot King had taught him about kings. And big things like love, starting off as very small things. About what his fall down the hill had taught him about God's love for us.
Golly, I've learnt quite a lot of good news, haven't I? Is any one lesson more important than any of the others in your book?
In my book? Well, in the book, the Bible, Jesus reminds us that the 2 most important lessons are these. Firstly, love the Lord your God with all of your heart and with all of your soul and with all of your mind and with whole of your strength.
Wowzers! That's an awful lot of me I need to love him with. What's the second lesson?
I think you've already learnt it. You must love your neighbour as yourself.
Oh, yes. They are very important lessons, aren't they?
And so David and Harry the Otter finally said goodbye to Lettuce Lord and Cabbage Queen, Carrot King, Pumpkin, Cauliflower, Kiev, and the Thoroughbreds, and began the long journey home. What an amazing round trip it had been.
This has been a Gluten Free Pasta Productions for the Jesus Unfiltered series.
We don't need no education, but all in all, we need a saviour to call.